Okay, so I've been cooking all night, and I'm continuing with one last thing for you all. I had made this before, and I'm gonna give it another attempt. I was successful last time, and I'm hoping to be successful again. I am gonna make blue corn sopapillas. I have a recipe that I follow for my sopapillas, and the only difference is instead of putting a cup of flour, I'm going to put a half a cup of flour and half a cup of blue corn flour. So we'll get those in right off the bat. Those are measured half cups of each. You want to get all of your dry ingredients. We also have half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm going to mix all of those thoroughly. I like to use a whisk because that just helps me get things mixed really well. This is actually half of the recipe that I have. I don't want to make a bunch of sopapillas. I'm just going to make a few. So, like I said, the first thing I do is I get all of my dry ingredients mixed thoroughly. Okay. And I also need my wood spoon. Most people get their hands in there. I'm not big on getting my hands all dirty, so we're going to add 1/8 of a cup of evaporated milk and 1/4 of a cup of lukewarm water. I have a little bit extra in case it's not wet enough. I could add a little bit. And I mix it all up. Oh, and I also need 3/4 of a teaspoon of oil. So there's half. And here's 1/4. Hard to pour 1/4. But, oh well, it's spilled enough in there, I think. So I'm going to throw those in my sink. Pull this off to the side and keep stirring. Okay, I kind of like the consistency of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of flour and throw it on my table here. And I'm going to drop this ball right on the flour. I'm going to dust a little bit more flour on top so that it doesn't stick to my fingers as I do this. And I'm going to knead this a little bit. Starting to stick a little bit, so I'm gonna make a little bit of mush there to pull it all up into the dough, and just get a little bit more flour. Just keep working that. When it stops sticking to your fingers so much, you're getting pretty close to the right consistency, and I think I'm about there. Oh, it's still sticking to the table a little bit, but of course my flour's all over down here. A wee bit more flour. So now I'm just gonna roll it up into a ball and let it sit for a little bit. I'm just going to put that back in that bowl, and I'm going to let it sit there for about 15 minutes. I'm going to cover it with a damp paper towel. Just to keep it from drying out. And in about 15 minutes, I'm going to return back here. I'm going to roll it out and I'm going to fry it up in that oil and make some blue corn sopapillas.